Good evening, boss.
Good evening, Akwatola.
Yeah, how you doing?
Bless God. How are you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm fine, boss. It's been a long time, and it's amazing to see you again, boss.
It's good to see you again too.
Yeah. And thank you for me calling and accepting my request. It's amazing for me, boss. So amazing for me. I look at the past time that we've been together, the little things you've managed to touch my career in the IT space. So the little things I've learned from you and the little things you've imparted in my life. You took me as a brother then, and I was now looking at the journey and how the journey has started. And I think that, you are amazing and you've imparted my career a lot. So that's why I came up with a topic that, I'm going to have with you and my viewers and people that are looking up to the channel. They were able to gain a lot from it. So that's why I brought the topic, which is protecting the file. You understand? So when I prompt up with this topic, like protecting your file, I was like, what prompts the topic is I was going through the internet and I saw a guy that lost a lot of money due to loss of his hard drive, loss of Bitcoin, runs that can make a country rich, even a generation that can make them rich to the core. And he lost the hard drive and he could not find the hard drive. So when I read the story, it was an eye opener for me and some of the people that are into the tech sector, that we have to learn from it. So that's why I come up with the topic. So that I know with a little few questions I'm going to ask this evening, you are going to shape us and you are going to advise us on what to do, like how to manage and keep our file. So I sent out a survey and I sent out a 10 questionnaire and people filled the questionnaire. So with that, I was able to know that people's file are so precious to them. And with the little question that I asked them, the response was so amazing. It was so amazing. At least I got like 60 to 70 responses with the survey I sent out, and they all filled the questionnaire. So this prompts me like, people know the value of the files, and it makes me know that people are looking for another way, that they have a plan A and plan B on how to keep their file, and that will make them to look up it and to manage it for the next 10, 15, 20 years. So with the survey. So that's why I came up with the topic, like how to protect your files. I understand the boss. All right. So let's just dig into the questions. So I know that your response will make my viewers know that they will know what steps to take. So before we go into the question, please, boss, can you kindly introduce yourself again for people that are watching and people that are still going to watch? So they want to know who you are and a little bit of yourself.
Okay, all right. Akwatola, thank you again for inviting me, right? So I would say it's an honor to be one of those people that you thought would come to your channel to converse or have conversations concerning IT. So I find myself, I'm humble right? I'm humbled by your gesture, and like I said, I'm happy to be here. So let me just go to briefly introducing myself. I have a background in IT. In fact, my first degree is in computer science, and then my subsequent 1 or 2 degrees is also in computer science. I think 1 degree actually postgraduate is in computer science, and then I ventured. But before getting into my second degree, I ventured, which is where we met for the first time. I ventured to start my career in IT. But before then in school, I had put my hands in 1 or 2 things. You know, then in school, when people have IT issues, maybe people need 1 or 2 things to get resolved. Then I would involve myself. But that's where those things started from. And then I had my opportunity to start working professionally at an organization that allowed me to grow, right? It was one of the benefits then was the colleagues that I had and the fact that it was a global organization, which means it gave me an opportunity to interact with people from different cultures and backgrounds. So that exposure was also one of those things. And then I ventured out into starting a business for myself. Basically, I started by teaching people maths, and then I graduated into teaching people IT, specifically cloud computing. I also did 1 or 2 projects in cloud computing. Even up to now, we're still doing that. So I would say um, I've been in the IT space for a while now, by the grace of God, and I am also learning as we grow. I'm also progressing and um, updating myself as things evolve over time. So yes, that's a brief introduction about me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, boss. Thank you so much. So let us begin to how our files can be protected. So, and the first question that I would like to ask is, can you walk us through how you think we can protect our files for the next 30 years?
So 30 years. Well, that's a good question. So you're talking about, I wouldn't say future inventions. I would say, future. So I would say, future solutions, right, to protecting our files, right? Um, some of the things that are happening now in terms of, the recent, I don't know the word to use now, but the recent solutions to IT needs that are coming up now is built on certain solutions that have been built over time, right? If you look at the idea behind it, it was just an upgrade to what has happened or what is there before time. Let me give you a good scenario. Since some of the people listening will be from, okay, let me not put it this way, but let me just give us a scenario that everybody can relate with. And I hope, yeah, let me just say what I need to say. So let's say you have a shop, right? And you sell ice, right? So there's nowhere in the world where people don't, I know people, this is a bit controversial, right? But in certain cases, there might be power outage or something like that, which would affect someone that sells ice. So let's say someone in a store sells ice, and it's pretty expensive to keep making ice. So basically, she looks at different forms of producing energy, renewable energy, which is through solar or using the wind, as the case may be. I don't think there's any commercialized or local way of producing electricity using the wind. But there are different ways of producing energy, coming from the central source, which is like in Nigeria is PACN, right? In other parts of the world, there are people that actually produces energy for people, and some other forms of producing energy, right? And for that store owner, she or he feels that it's pretty expensive for her to manage, um, managing producing eyes and paying for those bills. So she then outsourced. The reason why she outsourced is because she feels that people that she's outsourcing to are better managers of keeping eyes and producing eyes. So basically what she does is that she tells them, okay, produce these eyes, I will come and buy from you at a cheaper rate. She compares that with her expenses for the year, with what she's paying for her own store to produce eyes compared to what she's paying for these other guys that are producing eyes. She sees that, oh, these other guys are much more cheaper, right? Instead of doing it in our own house and paying a huge amount of money to produce eyes, I'd rather just pay stipends and collect its eyes and sell and make more profit. Why did I say this stuff? I say this to say that now is the time for cloud technology, right? Before now, people used to manage data on-premise, right? On-premise means, I mean, physically.
Yes.
On a personal level, you need to buy a hard disk, like with then what we need to do, that you buy a hard drive, external hard drive, and then you save your data. Even before then, we were using things like floppy disk, and floppy disk they extended into CD-ROMs, from CD-ROMs they extended into what is this external
drive?
No, the USB flash drive, right? And then even you will see even small SD modems, those SD cards in phones and stuff like that. So those are devices on a personal level that you use on premise, which is physically. What I mean on premise is what you're saying physically where you are, right? In certain cases where some families are a bit technologically savvy, right? They would create a local server in their house, and then what they do is that they'll connect everybody's phones to that local server, meaning that when they take a picture, they can just save that picture on that local server, and that local server is in their house somewhere, right? Let me relate that to businesses. Then you would know that as a business, you were coming then we were spending millions of naira and dollars in trying to protect and keep data locally, right? And now the cloud technology is here, where you can push those data that you want to save to them, and you pay them a stipend. So if you look at the phases of growth, where technology has grown from saving data on-premise and now to the cloud, I think in the future it's also going to be in the cloud also, right? It's just that there will be an upgrade. There will be not necessarily a reinvention to what is happening now, right? But it will just be like a progressive process where better ways of saving data will be created. Maybe faster ways, maybe more easy and protective ways. Maybe even now you can access your data if you save it in the cloud from anywhere, right? So maybe it can be automated in a different kind of way. Let's say you have pictures that have to do with your image or your document or some other important files. It can be segmented when it's being saved. Maybe that will be a progressive way of updating how things are saved on a storage location. So I just gave a few ideas. I don't know if one or two people will catch that. So now you can't really save a data except you program it, except there's a way you do it back at the back end, which is easy, which can be done basically. But what I'm saying is you can have a picture, let's say an image, and you can have your document, and when you save it on your storage backend, it can be sectionalized and say, okay, this is an important file, this is his personal document, we'll save it here, and then we'll encrypt it. This one is just his face, we can just save it here and make access to it a bit much easier. So probably that will be where the future is leading to, because the future is there to solve a problem, right? So whatever is going to be in the next 30 years might be gaps that we've seen in the storage space that we need to resolve. And that's where I believe will be headed. So, and I also think it's still going to be in the cloud space, basically. Yeah.
All right, boss. Thank you for sharing more enlightenment on it. But you
Mm-hmm.
see, in Nigeria, yeah, I think most of the methods we use here is using our external devices to save our files. So, and at the long run, you find that like someone being an engineer in the field, so I discovered that most of the people that use external drives, they do have problems. Some will say it has crashed. Some will say maybe the hard drive itself is no more prompting on the system. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So most of the people here in Nigeria, they basically they are majorly, maybe out of 100%, I'll just say maybe 60% or 65% are majorly using external devices.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in the company sector, I know that most of the companies now, they are now knowing the value of cloud now. So most of them are now moving to cloud. But personally,
Mm-hmm.
I think most of the people in Africa, I think we are majorly used to the external device storage. But one
Mm-hmm.
thing I want to prompt is, if we look at how the tech industry is moving now, we find out like mostly everybody now is now moving to cloud. So if you look
Mm-hmm.
at iPhone users, they will see like most of their files are moving to iCloud. So if you look at Android users, they prefer using their Google to save the files.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the people that are based on the phone part. But if you look at the laptop part, you found out like now most of the offices are using Office 365, where they can be able to work on and everything is moving to the cloud automatically. But
Mm-hmm.
not everybody has the facility personally.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the expenses, let's say because of the high amount of the cash, so they'll look at, if I'm spending this kind of money on the cloud, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of dollars. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So they would like to go for the external device aspect for that storage. But the
Mm-hmm.
question I want to ask now is, for those people that are minimizing their cost for the cloud storage, because of the cost, like now, if you look at, maybe for example, if you look at AWS, like cloud architecture, so if it comes to their way and explain how cloud works, you see like most of the people they will love the project, they will love everything that the cloud engineer said. But at the long run, when they mention the cost, they will what? They will just run away because of the cost. They don't want to spend more on the cloud. But how do you think like people like that, maybe within the Africa, or people that are using their files personally, so how do you think they can go about it?
Okay, that's a good question actually. So okay, before now you said something when you were introducing this this session today. You talked about someone that lost something very valuable.
Yes, at the hard drive. He lost his hard
Yeah,
drive.
yeah, he lost his hard drive. So yeah, so the best way to actually way he would have used to resolve that problem would be saving the data in that hard disk in different location, right?
Yes,
Which is basically redundancy, right? So I'm
yes,
talking about redundancy, multiple backups,
yes.
right? Saving it in different locations. In the case of Nigeria, right? By the way, Nigeria is a fantastic country, right? We have very smart people in
But
our country,
yes,
right? And I know they will always find a way to make things work for them because they are resilient, right?
yes,
And it's because of where we are as a people and as a country, and based on the fact that the economy is a growing economy, so people would always devise easier way and better ways and cheaper ways to get things done, especially when it comes to technology. We're very smart people, and I think we're up there when it comes to that. But relating it to the question where you just asked that people are looking for cheaper and easier means to save their data. External hard disk, I don't know how much it costs. I think it's about 25K for 1 terabyte now, or 50, I don't know, or 100K.
It's more than that. It's around 55 to 60K now.
Oh, 55 to 60K. So
Yes.
what about people that can afford that amount for that external hard drive? They can get flash drives and stuff like that.
Yes.
Another thing is, one thing I always want to tell people, like I said something about securing your data and redundancy, and the fact that you're able to access that data anywhere you are at the time, right? If someone is not economically strong at the time to save their data on a particular drive or particular location, they are always free to use cloud services, right? Like Dropbox will give you a particular storage limit to save your data. Google will give you some level of storage you need to save your data. All those cloud storage services will give you free to use storage allocations to save your data. Why not use them? Right? So what it means is that you will be very careful about what you save on those locations, right? Things that are much more important to you, right?
Yes.
That's what you should be saving in those locations. If you need an external hard drive, if you're scared, because there are still some people that we need to educate, right, in terms of their fears of other people seeing their data, because there are some people, like it or not, that feels that when they save their data in the cloud, other people have access to it. I understand where that fear is coming from, but this is not the cloud computing class for me to start explaining how data is saved and protected in the cloud. That's not where the conversation is headed. We're talking about people's mindset and people's economic viability to keep their data saved at different locations. If you can't buy a hard drive, they are free to use cloud services. You can open a Google Mail, right, and automatically you would have access to Google Cloud where you can save data within the limits that they give you. I think it's about 15 gig. I don't know what it is.
15 gig. 15 gig.
Oh, 15 gig. All right. So you can use that. If you exhaust that, you could use Dropbox, right, to save your data. You have free to use services there, right? You could use OneDrive. You could use Box.com. So there are different cloud services where you could save your data while you are saving money to buy an external hard drive. And even when you get an external hard drive, I would advise you to also save your data in different locations, because when you lose that drive, you would want to have access to the data or information within that hard drive, right? The cloud services allows you to access your data from anywhere, right? But for external hard drives or physical devices, you need to carry them everywhere you go, right? So you just need to find, like I said earlier when I was starting this to respond to your questions, Nigerians and human beings by default are find solutions to problems, right? Especially when they are cornered to a tight place, they will always come up with ideas to resolve that problem. I just gave one simple idea. Use the free to allocated space for cloud services like Google, Dropbox, and all those cloud services. Use them, right? And save only things that you need, right? You don't need to download videos of movies that, except those movies are some things that you want to keep, is going to help you or is educative or something, you can download and keep. But if things that you don't need, delete them, right? And just make good use of those cloud services that are free. When you have money, you can now buy an external hard drive. Also, when you have money, you can also extend your storage locations within those cloud services. You can extend them from 15 gig to 1 terabyte, right? And then you're asked to pay on a monthly basis. So yeah, those are, I think that's a very simple way of protecting and keeping your data. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So let me just share more enlightenment on the solution you give to us. But if you think that, okay, we move to the free aspect, like where we can easily use the free part of Google and so on and so cloud storage devices. Do you think that our files still protected using the free version of it? Is it still protected?
Yes. Your file is very much still protected. I'm trying not to go into cloud technology, but your files are still very much protected. Those are managed services. What I mean by managed services, managed services, I would say, because the engineers at the back end, they've put structures in place that manages those things, those services, especially when it comes to cloud storage, right? So what I mean by managed services is that you don't go to control anything. You don't really have control over it, right? So you push your data there, and then they help you protect your data by default because of the structures or the parameters put in place for that cloud storage solution to protect your data, right? The only way your data is not protected is when you share your password, right? So encryption, right? Protecting that's your own job, right? There's something in AWS where there's a customer responsibility where the cloud service provider and then the customer manages responsibilities. You have to encrypt your data. You have to password your data, right? You have to password for cloud storage like Google. Once you have access to an email, you can save data in the cloud space, right? So you can't be sharing your emails with people and the password. I mean, not just you can share your email with people, you can't share your password with people. That's your private file. That's for you. So it's your private um 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 your private property. Yeah, So once you don't share those details, they won't have access to those things. And then you have to also apply some level of security on those things, right? There's MFA, multi-factor authentication, right? You could use that to give a second level protection for your email, right? And there are different kind of MFA devices or accesses that you can use. You can use sending a number or whatever to your phone number or your email, or you could use a third-party app like Google Authenticator to make that happen, right? Or any kind of third-party app to use that, or you could use tokens to protect your email and stuff like that. So give a second level access or protective access to your email so that people or very funny people don't have access to your email and stuff like that. So yeah.
Right. Thank you, boss. Thank you for honoring the show. I really appreciate your time. Though I don't have the dollars to present to you, boss, I know that one day we're gonna meet again, do things, share knowledge again. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yeah. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bye-bye. Yeah.